Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Devaraga Gopijana Vallabha Devaraga Yashodanandana Panchajanarandana Yashodanandana Panchajanarandana Yamunatira Vanachara Yamunatira Vanachara Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Bihari Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Advaita Gadada Devasasita Bhaktavinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Advaita Gadada Devasasita Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Gaura Hari Bom, Hari Bom, Hari Bom, Jai Gaura Hari Bom, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Today we will be reading from the first canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Chapter 8, Prayers of Queen Kunti, text 33. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Cheva Narottanam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jyamudiyayat. Nastve Shriyabhatresu Nityam Bhagavata Sevya Bhagavata Uttamasloke Bhakti Bhavatanastiki. Apare Vasudevasya Devakyam Yachito Bhyagat Ajastam Asyakse Maya Padaya Sasurat Visam. But for what translation? Apare others, Vasudevasya of Vasudev, Devakyam of Devaki, Yasita being prayed for, Abhyagat took birth, Acha unborn, Tvam you are, Asya of him, Ksemaya for the good, Vandaya for the purpose of killing, Cha and Surat Visam of those who are envious of the demigods. Translation and purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Others say that since Vasudeva and Devaki prayed for you, you have taken your birth as their son. Undoubtedly you are unborn and yet to take your birth for their welfare and to kill those who are envious of the demigods. Purport. It is also said that Vasudeva and Devaki, in their previous birth as Sutapa and Prishni, underwent a severe type of penance to get the Lord as their son. And as a result of such austerities of the Lord appeared as their son. It is also declared in Bhagavad Gita that the Lord appears for the welfare of all people of the world and to vanquish asuras, or the materialistic atheists. Read the verse once again. Apare vasudevasya devakyam yachito bhyagat achastam masyakshe maya vadaya sasurat visam. Others say that since both Vasudeva and Devaki prayed for you, you have taken your birth as their son. Undoubtedly you are unborn. Yet you take your birth for their welfare and to kill those who are envious of the demigods. Om Ahyana Timannasya Tinanjana Shnakya Sakshamritam Yena Tasmai Shigurave Namah Chitchetayamanopistam Staptam Yena Bhutale Svamrupakadamyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shiroshi Yoda Padkamanam Shirom Vaishnavamsha Shirupam Sagachatam Saganaragnatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savrutam Parchana Saitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sakalita Shivashakam Vitam Shah He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandha Tyatpate Gopesha Kopka Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhani Sutadevi Pranamama Haripriye Pacha Kalpta Vishakhe Pasana Vivishapadnam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namah Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharani Nirvishesha Srinivadi Paskachari Tasata. Srila Prabhupada Ki. So last week I heard 2 lectures on this verse, that because it has a very small, short purport. I heard a lecture of Bhakti Charu Maharaj and Radhanath Maharaj, and they are using the verse to speak on slightly different topics, which are in relation to this verse. That Bhakti Charu Maharaj speaks on how all what is mentioned in the Bhagavatam is factual, is history. That and Radhanath Maharaj, he addresses the inconceivability of understanding Krishna, that and how to deal with contradictions in the scriptures. But first, what Bhakti Charu Maharaj says is, of course, he starts with saying this chapter describes the prayers of Queen Kunti. The Battle of Kurukshetra was over and Krishna was going to leave back to Dwarka. and Krishna prayed to Krishna, and Kunti prayed to Krishna and requested him not to go, to stay. And he complied with that. He stayed a few months longer. But these are factual historic facts. They are not story. Like Krishna's father, Vasudeva, he was the son of Surasen, and his daughter was Kunti. So Kunti was Vasudeva's younger sister. Kunti's name is also Preta. Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita is called son of Preta. And the grandfather was Ugrasena, and Ugrasena's son was Kamsa. So that happened 5,000 years ago, and these records are in Mahabharata. This Mahabharata presented by Vyasadeva, and we see at the end of Krishna's pastimes, he's going back to the spiritual sky by this so-called hunter Jara, who shot an arrow in his foot. And Krishna ascended to the spiritual sky. After Krishna appeared, and that's quite, you can read that in the Mahabharata, the Pandavas also decided to leave. And they walked towards the Himalayas until their body fell. One fell after another, and the others did not look back, they continued walking. And all left their body, but not Yudhishthira. Yudhishthira was transported to heaven with a Viman. So these are actual facts, and they are recorded in the Vedas. The Vedas, we have the transcendental knowledge in the Upanishads, and then we have the Puranas, the Samhitas, which are instructions of exalted personalities. That's all in the Mahabharata. At that time, the Earth planet was one country called Bharat, and there used to be one ruler. And there was one culture followed, and that was the Vedic culture. Those who were not following the Vedic culture, there are mentioned about them. The Pulanda, Indra, Kiratas. Like the Kiratas were hunters. They were living in the forest. And they were driven out of society, of the civilized society, the Vedic society. And the last emperor of this earth was Maharaj Parikshit, the last ruler of a united earth planet. We know from the Bhagavatam that Srila Vyasadeva wrote all this Vedic literature, but at the end he felt dissatisfied, and Srila Vyasadeva appeared. Srila Vyasadeva's spiritual master Narada Muni appeared and pointed out, are you only concerned with the body and the mind, but with the needs of the soul? And then Srila Vyasadeva, on the instruction of Narada Muni, wrote the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a commentary of the Vedanta Sutra, which is the Vedic knowledge in in seed form. That. So Srimad Bhagavatam is really the final scripture that Vyasadeva gave, and it reveals, and the Bhagavatam reveals the real meaning of the Mahabharata. If you cannot read the Mahabharata independently from the Bhagavatam, because then you will be bewildered. So we should be carefully reading the Bhagavatam. So these prayers of Kunti are so profound, our prayers, because these prayers, factually, they reveal the entity of Lord Krishna. That because she has realization that so Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and she's praying to Krishna first to remove the illusory energy, and she's praying, "Let me serve you eternally." The Kunti is an associate of Krishna, and if we listen to these descriptions of his eternal associates, that's very important for us, because the Lord's associates are very close to Krishna and they know Krishna, and we need to approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead to someone who knows Krishna. And Kunti pointed out how Krishna saved her, not because she was Krishna's aunt, but because she was surrendered to Krishna. That's the reason. That yes. The way one approaches Krishna then Krishna will approach in a similar way. In this, the way one approaches Krishna will determine the way how Krishna reciprocates with us. Of course, he responds to our love. But if one approaches Krishna with animosity like Kamsa, then Krishna does not have any mercy. That he also reciprocates accordingly. Kamsa is Krishna's uncle, but Kamsa was killed by Krishna. Shishupal was Krishna's cousin, but he killed him. Many of these demons were actually relatives of Krishna. Also Dantavraka, Jarasandha. Krishna killed them because his purpose was to re-establish Dharma. Yadai Dai Dharmasya Glani Bhavta Bharata Abhyutanam Dharmasya Tatatmam Chityamam. And how does he do that? Paritranai Satinam Vinasai Saduskritam Dharma Sampartanaya Sambhavan Yuhi Yuhi. That he comes to protect the devotees, annihilate the demons, and to re-establish the principles of religion. And those who go against these principles, who go against the law of the Supreme, Krishna has no mercy. Still, they get liberation. The causeless mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Everyone who comes in contact with Krishna gets good results. So they get liberation. So his reward, Krishna's reward, and his punishment are equally beneficial. So therefore Brahma, he was amazed when he saw that Aghasura was killed. His soul came out of his head and entered Krishna's body. Of course, then Brahma was thinking, well, who is this coward boy? And he wanted to test him. That is then the introduction to the Brahma Mohan Lila. But Brahma was surprised, therefore Brahma wanted to check out Krishna. So even by being killed by Krishna, one attains liberation, whether killed or rewarded, all are beneficial. Those who are favorably exposed get a more exalted position. There is his associates, many of his associates or those who were devotees of Krishna in Krishna's pastimes, they came from Goloka Vrindavan, and many went to Goloka Vrindavan. So when you become a devotee of Krishna, Krishna will reward us beyond our imagination. Therefore, we should never, ever give up Krishna consciousness. Never reject Krishna, never leave ISKCON, because then we will, if we stay in ISKCON and keep with Krishna consciousness, we will be protected by Krishna and by Prabhupada. So we have just to accept that process Srila Prabhupada gave us and stay in ISKCON, which provides us, gives us factually that shelter. Eventually, we will be elevated to Srila Prabhupada's pastimes. If you have doubts, and then just go to the devotees and ask questions. Every question to making spiritual advancement can be answered. Newer and newer revelations will come when we read Srila Prabhupada's books. It is never ending. The more we read, the more we get spiritual revelation. Our spiritual life depends on following the process given by Srila Prabhupada. So those who come with material motivations, they will not stay in this movement. Because this movement is based on purity. Those who do not want to be purified, they are not sincere. We should have no other objective than making spiritual advancement. We surrender to Krishna and Krishna takes care of us. That is Srila Prabhupada's wonderful creation. This is the wonderful mercy of Srila Prabhupada. We see that Queen Kunti underwent so many tribulations. Why did all this suffering overcome them? Was it their karma? No, it was not their karma. It was the inconceivable will of the Lord. Inconceivable. But she accepted all what came, good or bad, as the mercy of Krishna, and she took shelter of Krishna. Without Krishna, any shelter in this world, everything is just an illusion. So what's our purpose in this world? It's to take shelter of Krishna in every situation of life. Krishna is not subject to anyone's conceptions. He can take whatever form he wants, can appear in the form of a tortoise or a boar. He can do whatever he desires. If he wants to create by his will or destroy, it just happens by his will. In the following verse, she mentions our great sages. Well, in the following verses, she mentions our great sages perceive and know Krishna. All their perception of this, or realizations of these sages, they are true. Our glorification of Krishna is an insignificant offering. It cannot do justice to Krishna's real glories. Om Purnamada Purnamidam. Krishna is perfect, is complete. So when he reveals himself in this world, that he fulfills unlimited purposes for unlimited reasons, and that's inconceivable to us. Paritanai sadnam vinasai saduskritam. Yes, protecting devotees, annihilating demons, re-establishing the principle of religion. But these are very basic general explanations. But he appeared to also to answer the prayers of Devaki and Vasudeva. He appeared to reveal the beautiful pastimes of Vrindavan. He appeared to give pleasure and protect to so many souls. So each of these souls has a unique relationship with the Lord. So we need to be broad-minded and not try to rationalize with our mind. Because the mind is limited and cannot conceive the unlimited, inconceivable nature of Krishna. It's not possible with our mind or intelligence. At one side, Prabhupada says, we were with Krishna in the spiritual world. At the other side, he said, but no one falls from Vaikuntha. So this cannot be understood with our mind or intelligence. Prabhupada instructed us, do not discuss this, do not dwell on it, do not waste your time by arguing where we came from. Concentrate your energy on going back to Godhead. That it's like the story of a tall fruit is falling from a tree. And just when a crow landed on a branch. So one can argue, why did the tall fruit fall? Was it because the crow landed on the branch? Or was it just by gravity? It had to fall at that moment. So we should not worry about it, Prabhupada said. You take the fruit, you offer the fruit to Krishna, and you eat the fruit. That's it. Do not worry about it. We are suffering birth and death. You are asking the doctor not for the cause of your disease. You want a cure, really. Scriptures explains in various ways, and it is not that one is wrong and the other is right. By our rational thinking, we cannot, or by our thinking, by our material brain, we cannot understand the inconceivable. It's not possible. Because it displeases Krishna if we try to speculate on it. And when we displease Krishna, we stay in this world. The process is we must hear and accept from the Guru. Tat vinapanapana pariprasna sevya upadakshana tutehyam jnanastat padakshana. The Guru speaks Shastra, representing the disciplic succession. If the spiritual master is properly situated, we just accept it. And what he says, because the spiritual master repeats Shastra according to the previous acharyas. If we are not following that process, we are entering in our own speculation. So Prabhupada said, yes, at one side, we never, at one time we were with Krishna in the spiritual world, and at the other side he says, from Vaikuntha you'll never fall from the spiritual world. So we must accept both and chant Hare Krishna. That's what Srila Prabhupada instructs us. Don't make an issue about what you cannot understand. These truths are absolute and beyond the limitation of the mind and intelligence. So, and Kunti brings forward so many contradictions. Why did you appear? You are unborn. You appear to please Yadu, and she gives so many options. So Kunti did not discuss She just accepted. So how are contradictions solved? They will be solved finally by realization. If you go back to the spiritual world, you will understand by realization that so these are important points made by our great spiritual masters. The Bhagavatam is history, facts that Krishna appears for the welfare of everyone. He reciprocates with our surrender. That and we should not try to understand Krishna in the scriptures by our mental speculation, but by accepting a spiritual master. That and accept there are things we cannot understand with our material brain. The brain is material. That and with something material, you cannot understand something transcendental. The transcendental knowledge, the transcendental knowledge is understood by realization. So this is what I could say on this verse by the mercy of Bhakti Charamaj and Radhanath Maharaj. That I repeated more or less what they presented in their lecture on these verses. That and there are important lessons for us to learn. So thank you. Any questions, comments?
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you very much. Just a comment. Very nicely you put that is this moment is based on purity, and our spiritual progress depends on our following of the process. So thank you for giving that knowledge, Maharaj.
Any other questions? Okay. So next week I'll be in. Today we are the 4th, right? Next week is the 7 days further. That's the 11th.
Yes.
Yeah. 11th. I think I will be able to give a lecture just before I leave to Brussels. Because the 11th is Radhastami.
Yes.
So I will speak on Srimad Radharani. And I have to see that because I have to go to Brussels also. But I'll let you know if it's possible. And
okay.
The week after I will be, but then the day after I'm leaving Fuji. Yeah, that will be the 18th, the last day of the festival. But we'll see what's possible. I keep you informed. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Jai Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
His Holiness Bhakti Prabhu Maharaj ki Jai.
Prabhupada ki